Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz, and today I'm interviewing the beautiful Maria Hopwood. Maria is a mother of 4 children and a grandmother to 3 beautiful grandchildren, and she works and has a lot of connection in the wellness industry. She's a triple diamond executive with a company called ASEA and a business coach and mentor for others in spiritual businesses and well-being. So welcome, Maria. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for the invite. Lovely to see you.
Excellent. So in today's episode, I'd just like to share the different awakening journeys of the guests, because so many people are going through the awakening process as we elevate from more 3D to 5D, and everyone needs to know that their story is something shared, and everyone has a slightly different way that it shows up, and how spirituality shows up in your business and helps you pursue a happy life and abundance and love and everything. So can you tell me a little bit about, when did you first realize that you were on a spiritual awakening journey?
You know, hindsight is such a great teacher. I had no idea that I was on a spiritual journey. Just to give you a bit of background, I'm from Chile, as you just said. But I learned to read with Lotsan Rampa books. I don't know whether anybody knows about these, but it's a monk that lived in Tibet in the 1940s, just before the Second World War, in that area. And he wrote 12 books.
Wow.
I was a teacher, and I was his firstborn, and he taught me to read using those books. So I would have been 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 in there somewhere. So I didn't read, Cinderella books. I didn't read, Jack and the Beanstalk. I didn't read Pinocchio. I read Lotsan Rampa books. What the hell? And, so I knew about Martians, and I knew about extraterrestrials and UFOs and all sorts of funky stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. That was magic for me. So I've been on this journey since I was very young. But it wasn't until I was 18 years old that I started going to meditation classes with a girlfriend. And she said, you know what? She said, you can hold your own meditation groups. And I thought, I'm 18. I know nothing about this. What the hell is she talking about? So she said, look, let's hold one and see what happens. So she showed me what to do, how to lead a group. I went through this series of impromptu lessons, and I did. And before I knew it, I was at my mum's house, because I was still living at mum's, and I was holding these meditation sessions for which people used to turn up. I had no idea. Why do you want to turn up? I'm meditating. I'm going to take you through a meditation. I'll meditate with you. But what was happening, and I didn't know this was happening, I will meditate. I said, all right, already, put the candles on, put the music on, nice and soft, because I was 18, right? Everything had to be pretty, and, it had to have set the tone. And then I found that I would meditate and go off to La La Land, and I will come back and people will have all these messages, and I had no idea what I've done, where I've been, or what I said. So that's when I became aware. I said, oh, okay, what is this? And that's when I actually started exploring and researching more, wanting to know more.
Wow, that's so fascinating. And I love the fact that they introduce you to so much variety of the spiritual realm. There's so many people out there that don't really get aliens and ETs and everything like that, but when you tap into this frequency, there's that realm, there's the fairy and Devic realm, there's the little mystical realm, the magical realm. There's so many different aspects to it. For the most part, people just think that there's earth, heaven, and the angelic realm when it's so much more. That's amazing.
And I'm not part of it, so it's just
Besides that meditation class, was there any specific event that you would say was a catalyst for your awakening, for your true calling to be spiritual?
it was that meditation. It was one of the meditations because people will keep on coming, but I didn't know why. And and then eventually somebody said, "Look, we need to tell you what's going on." And that's when I went, "Oh, okay, I'm now responsible." Then I felt the weight of the responsibility to be able to do the right thing. So for a few sessions after that, it was pretty dull because I was very focused on doing the right thing. I didn't let go. I didn't surrender like I'd done before because I didn't know before. Now I kind of knew a little bit. And then all of a sudden, oh, shivers, I can't tell a lie. I can't do this. I want to, do you know what I'm talking about? You just,
I do.
the doubts came,
Absolutely.
it was just like, wow, you're kidding me? Yeah.
And that essence of being told by someone of how it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to run, that conformity threw me off center for a long time of I'm not a rule follower. I have guides and intuition and I follow what I'm told, not what somebody else has taught me. And it was very fascinating to really tap into that and own that because when other people can't see that, it's hard to define at times. So I get that on a deep level.
Absolutely.
So what sort of beliefs did you grow up with regarding spirituality and religion as a child?
Well, I was in a household where my dad was very spiritual, didn't like religion, and my mom was a staunch Catholic. So,
Sorry.
yeah, gosh, the conversations and the arguments and Mom, I felt nothing wrong with religion. Like, I mean, everybody has their own thing, but I learned about magic stuff. I knew about fairies and dragons and extraterrestrials and funky lights and things that you're telling me I got a cross? I got this is boring. This is exciting. This is boring. So as a child, I did that. And for a long time, from 3 to 18, that's how I lived. And mom and I used to like this, right? So for mom, there are certain norms and certain rules that I just go, no, no rules. Thank you very much. I go this way. So when I did that, mum sort of like talk to me, would get really upset. And anyway, it was a constant up and down, up and down. And of course, then there were boys, there were the boys, the growing up and the awareness that, wow, they're boys. So that kind of took me out of kilter for a little bit, but I knew there was more and I always kept on reading. I always made sure that I talked to dad because dad was the instigator of it all. He was my savior, and he will say, "Come on, Mum's going out. Come up for a talk. Or let's go and have a talk. Let's go for a walk and have a talk." And that kept me in that path when things were going other places.
I love that. And it's really a blessing to have someone like that in your life. In my younger years, my mother was interested in the tarot and bits and pieces of it, but not in a positive way. It was a way of manipulation, and that set me against owning my gift for a long time. But finding quality teachers and mentors made all the difference. So
I totally get that. I remember going to my grandmother's house and I was looking for grandma. And I opened the door and she's sitting in the middle of a pentagram with candles all over in the 5 corners, red velvet curtains all shut. And it's like, and I'm going, oh, well, that's what I said then because I was young, but I know what I would say now. Because what the hell's going on? And that, yeah, she was well and truly the Wicked Witch of the West. So, yeah, I didn't want to be like that because there was manipulation for self-gain. And I never thought that was a really good thing. Not that I'm so goody-goody. No, I'm not. No, I'm no saint. I'm not saying I've done my bits, but I never thought taking advantage of somebody for self-gain and it never sat well with me.
yeah,
At all. And, for other people it does, I'm sure. And that's okay too. It's their own journey. But I didn't like that. And she did it. And that kind of like using the tarot for self-manipulation stuff. I'm sort of, You know, she used to say things like, I'm going to give him the evil eye. And she would. And
Yeah.
that would happen and go, whoa, whoa, don't want any of that. Yeah. So I know what you're talking about.
And that's the hard part. Like when someone uses it in that way, thankfully, we had some good friends, and one of them was a palmist, and the other was a neurologist, and others were like medium or clairvoyant, and they would show me different ways. So I was introduced to a bit of a wide variety. And then when I was in my 20s, I found spiritual church and circle to sit in to learn from quality people that were more connected to light and using it for healing. And that's my passion of it, of the healing aspects of
Mm.
the whole side of things. So, have you had a dark night of the soul experience, a really deep, moving spiritual?
You know, I can pinpoint one aspect, right? So we live in this society where we are measured by a certain stick, right? There are certain things you gotta have, then you are somebody. If you don't have those, then you're nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a household where education was everything. If you didn't have a degree, you were nothing. Well, I chose not to have a degree. I decided to get a degree in motherhood. So I gave up my business. I was doing a business and law, whatever it was, a long time ago, degree. And I gave it up to have children. So I've got a degree in motherhood, 4 kids under the age of 5 at one point. So I gave it all up. So that was never measured to that level of acceptance within my household, especially my dad, even though I loved him dearly. That's not how he wanted his daughter to go to. So as I grew up, my children, and as I, went through motherhood, marriage, breakup, and all that, whatever, a lot of things, your self-doubt becomes very prominent in your life. It's kind of rules you. And, in a marriage where or in any situation, doesn't have to be a bad or a good marriage, just that if you've got too many children, which is beautiful, one of them needs to go to work, which is usually the husband, to pay for all the bills that are coming up with all the kids. So that was the case for me. So I found myself lost. And I've talked to a lot of women now in their 60s like me, that we recognize that stage that we go through. So anyway, so my children grew up. So I struggle with self-worth, with self-love, with all that. And then we had the pandemic, the thing that we had to have. And I get a phone call from one of my children, and they were falling pregnant. They were pregnant. She was pregnant, and we are gonna have a baby. And I get the call, you will never see this child for the rest of your living days. Okay. That was a hard night. That was because all the insecurities, all the feelings of inadequacy, of lack of self-worth, of self-loathing, or not being good enough, or all those things just came flashing down on one night. And it was horrendous. And I was on my own. I had nobody to talk to. I didn't have a girlfriend that I could say, this shit is happening to me. What do I do here? What do I do there? Get me something. I didn't. I went to bed and cried all night, cried the following day. Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a really tough one. I did come out of that. Took me a little while to come out of that because I was on my own. I didn't have, like, if somebody comes up to me and said, look, I don't know what's going on. This is happening. Not that I'm an expert. I said, well, look, honey, let me at least hold you or get you a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I was on my own. And the people that I had around me didn't understand. So I couldn't go and say, I don't know what's going on. I feel like jumping in front of a truck. And literally, those are the feelings that I felt. I wasn't worth it. What's the fastest and easiest way to do away with this worthless piece of whatever that is crying here? Yeah, and those things were considered. I'm being honest here.
And that's the saddest part about that dark night of the soul, whether it happens early in the journey or a long time down the track. There's usually more than one event throughout your life, and it's hard. And those
combinations.
thoughts of, can I do this anymore? Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? And
Mm, mm.
especially when there's no one around you. And that's for me the pure elevation as you arise to attract better quality people. We do lose people that don't get us in that process, but it's hard, it's lonely, it's heart-wrenching, especially when you're not sure what to do. So,
Yeah, that was a tough one. So the pain of being unloved, 100%
yeah,
rejected, not just by me, but everybody around me. Um, for better or for worse, when my dad taught me how to read with those books, it kind of created this really weird type of energy around me that people found difficult to connect. I
yeah,
found it difficult to connect with people. So I don't want to talk about your freaking dolls. I want to talk about stuff that's fun and exciting and it's fulfilling. And she's nuts. I'm nuts.
yeah.
So I never had a lot of girlfriends or friends during my life. Even now, I mean, I can count friends, really good friends, in maybe two hands, perhaps, and that's it. I've got a lot of people that I love and they come and talk to me. But for me to come and talk to them and express how I feel, what I want, what my challenges, the deepest part of my heart, there's nobody. Very few. Maybe, one or two. You'll be one. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I do get how hard it is. I'm blessed. I have a good handful or two of it. And I know what it's like. I don't talk to most of my family because they just don't get me. And I also can't stop my beliefs or let go of my values or change who I am in order to fit in to someone else and what their
Yeah.
opinion or their idea of what the world is.
Being compliant is what's got us into this mess to start.
Mess.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And that episode cost so much on so many levels. And thankfully, I stood firm on my boundaries and they all come back. So they all realize after the fact, but it's hard riding through it. I know it.
It is. It is. Well, they're coming back, I'm sure.
So during that time where you really felt like giving up, and we all have been to that depth of despair,
Mm-hmm.
what was the essence or how did you find the strength to keep going?
You know, um, you get into this state, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where it's just a void of pain. The pain is horrendous. But the void is not everlasting. There are moments in that you gotta go to the loo. Oh, I'm getting wet. Or you gotta go and grab water because you're so dry, or your eyes are itchy, or whatever, because you're so upset. And those moments you wonder, what am I doing? There's this little voice going, what's going on? What's happening? So after a while, I realized that I wasn't going to jump in front of the first truck that I saw. I mean, at the time I lived in the Blue Mountains, that was easy to do. The Great Western Highway,
Every day.
the mornings, the trucks come flying down. So I knew I wasn't going to do that. So I guess I spent my pain to the point where I had a little bit of time to think.
Yep.
Right? And it was more of and perhaps an egotistical way of getting out. I said, they're not going to beat me better than this. They're not going to beat me. They can not going to beat me. And actual sheer grit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll show them that the anger. So the pain turning to anger, I'm going to show them and I'm better than this. And that's how I got out. So then I became angry. And I was very angry for a long time. Angry with everything, everybody, myself, everything. I was so angry. I thought, what the have I done to do? And so at this particular point, I say anger. I was so angry. So I started looking. I understood I was angry, right? I knew I was angry because I was angry with myself, right? Yeah. So I knew on some level, I thought, I can't do this. I got to, they're angry with me. I'm angry with myself, same kind of stupidity. So let's work a way that I can get out of this. And the way I went looking for information, I went looking for things and people that I could listen to because I had nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
I had nobody to talk to. My mum was gone, my dad had gone, so I couldn't talk to him. I talked to him, but he wasn't here to actually understand him. So I went looking for information because you know what? You get sick of being judged.
You do.
You get sick of being judged because you're different. You get sick of being judged. First of all, when I first arrived here in Australia, I'm short. I push 5 foot, right? I'm dark, short, stumpy. I speak the wrong English, whatever it was. So I had to also step into that space to be accepted. And then all of a sudden, I do all this. I bring our family, da, 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 da. I'm like, da, da, da. And then you tell me I'm not worthy. You are. And that's what got me out. I had, perhaps not the best way, but that's worked for me.
I love it. And I know that intimately when I lost everything back in 2017, it was, you just didn't want to go anymore. You didn't want to get past it. You just wanted to stay within it. But that inner voice, that sheer grit and determination that doesn't give up on us, that higher self aspect that can tell you, you'll get through this. I hated that little fucker.
He can ask.
I hated it. I was not happy with it. And that, in essence, for me was Archangel Michael. And he kept coming to tell me that I was strong. And it was a 4-letter word. And I didn't want to hear it because strong equated pain, strong equated suffering. And that was a mindset I had to shift. But as you said, I also found resources online. I would just have these amazing people pop up on my Facebook feed out of nowhere, and I'd listen to something and it would shift the way I thought. And then I wanted to absorb more because from that, I would stop thinking and then I'd stop like wallowing in the depression and I'd stop thinking that
Totally.
over. And there was this spark of interest. So
yeah,
get
100%.
that totally.
Oh, get it. Yeah, they were not angels for me. Mate, I'm here. I'm 3D. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. I knew they were up there, but right now I was so deep in it. I just, yeah.
And I highly recommend anyone going through it. When you get stuck and you can't get out of it, go find. There are amazing resources on YouTube. There are coaches. There are spiritual people, there are mentors, there are guides, there's everyone out there who can give you some courage and insight just to think differently than you do right now. And that perspective will change the world. So
And you know that you're not alone.
that's the other thing is there's communities. One of the reasons I really adore Facebook is for the groups on Facebook. There is a community for everything. Whatever you're going through, you type that in the search bar and you will find thousands of people going through the same thing, thousands of them, and they're all around. We complain we're alone. We're not alone. We are just surrounded by people that are not quite our tribe, and it's up to us to find that tribe.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Yeah.
And just looking back, what do you think that episode was teaching you? What was the major lesson you got out of it?
I'm more than enough. And I learned to go within. So I there was pain, there was anger, there was grief, there was looking for resources. And then through that, like you said, it sparks that interest. And then you understand that the dark night of the soul is like shedding. It's like, let's rip this open, because if we don't rip it off, guess what? You're going to wear it all your life. So we know that. Let's get rid of it. And yeah, the ego comes in and the ego doesn't like it done. So then it takes us through this pain. But the pain, as I said before, in the beginning of the podcast, is hindsight is so good. We become, absolute philosophers through hindsight, right? Expert. But while you're in it, right, you just can't see it. But looking back, I learned that I can actually do this. And the reason that I'm going to speak for myself, we all go through it. My experience wasn't just for me, right? It was for my creator to experience what that was. When I understood that, when I actually learned that, when I internalized, it took a little while, then I also realized that all my experiences, all in every single aspect of my life, is not just for me, it's to teach the spark within me that is the creator light, the divine self and all that. And, yeah, I learned that I am enough. However, I'm still living here. I'm not angel. And the concept of I am enough, it's terrific.
Mm.
But the doubt's creeping. And, like, even just now, I'll be honest with you, too, how do I describe myself? And that's why I send you that piece, because I thought, how do we do that? It's hard. It's hard to actually, we are told, don't get tickets on yourself. So there is that, the doubts. The doubts aren't as big and strong as they were. They're still there, I'm here to show others that there is light, that you are light, and that you're, through your pain or through your excellent, fabulous experience and the not so fabulous experiences, everything that between that gamma of experiences, they are here to teach you and others around you that you are the light and you're here to fulfill a mission. You're not just wasting space. I thought for a long time, I'm not worthy of being here. I feel I am. And that carries also a physical, mental, and spiritual responsibility. And sometimes it gets heavy because you know what? I like to tell that so and so exactly how I feel. But then you go, hang on, let's just change the channel. How do we look at it again? So it's a constant learning and a constant just seeing life from a different perspective, and it's much better. I prefer it. I just want to live my truth, which is what I'm here to do, and to help humanity move forward through their own individual truth of the 8 billion souls that we have here.
I love that, because it's so exactly why I do this and what I'm involved in it. There is so much more to us. And yeah, the doubts come, the unworthiness comes. It never fully goes away. You are going to question things, but every time you do, you up level, you grow more. And that little check is there to keep us so that we don't get out of control with the ego and overtake things. It keeps us aligned and central. It's powerful.
It is. And we forget. Society is very quick to tell us that that's just, I was told one, I got to tell you this. I was told once, I was mentoring this group of people, a group of women, and we were doing pamphlet, and then this other guy comes in, that's all fluff stuff, doesn't if you work. And I thought, you weren't even invited to the conversation to start with. But there's that mentality out there.
Absolutely. And newbies going through it, that is the first thing that you encounter is people go, no, you don't know what you're going on about. And like, people tell me that spirituality is a cult. I'm going, really? Awareness, boundaries, self-love is a cult? If that's the cult, sign me up. Seriously.
Yeah, I know.
What sort of advice would you give someone currently going through their dark night of the soul or spiritual awakening?
Again, it's so easy to look back, but I will say, allow yourself to go through it. Allow yourself to spend yourself and cry. Allow yourself to feel the pain. And in those very exquisite little moments when you have to go to the loo, when you have to blow your nose, when you have to stamp your feet and be angry, just take a moment and breathe and understand that you're loved.
Yeah.
And that this growth, that this it's intense growth, and it's a gift. It's an absolute gift. In the moment, you know what to do with the gift, right? It's not being you just want to throw it down the toilet, but it kind of gives you a sense of for me, like when I had those moments where I could actually stop and say, why is this going on, right? Then allow yourself to feel the love. Don't ask for questions, answers, because you're in such a crappy space. You probably get the wrong answer anyway. But just allow to feel the warmth of the love that surrounds you, that are holding you so tight. I wish somebody had told me that. I would have found more comfort.
Yeah, and even in the darkest moments of when you're alone, you don't feel alone when you can attune to that essence. Our soul never leaves us. Our higher self is always connected to us. And that love of source, that essence of God stays within us every moment of the time.
Absolutely. And surrendering,
Yeah.
you know, you're going
Just
to blow your nose, surrender to the moment. It's only blowing your nose, but just surrender to that moment that, you're going through this, and every cry, every tear, every pain is a shedding of
yeah.
all the crap that you have.
And it's one of the reasons why so many people end up going through the dark night of the soul and their emotional overhaul is because we block our emotions down. We bottle them down and bottle them down. We don't want to feel them because we do everything in our life we can to run away from pain.
Sure.
Just feel the pain. If you feel it and then embrace it so that you can let it go and surrender, once it's gone, it's gone.
Don't
We
devalue the experience,
Yeah, we make it last so long by holding on to it with every breath that we take, when the idea is just to feel it and allow it to pass through you.
Yeah.
Because behind it is everything. That's the goal. So, do you have any particular practices or books or resources that you recommend to anyone on the pathway?
Well, that's an interesting question. Yes, I do. I've got my own, right? So we are all special and unique, and we're all very different. So what appeals to me might not appeal to you. However, in saying that, I follow Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
I follow Joe Dispenza. I've read all his books. I've done all his meditation. I've got them all. They got them. Esther Hicks. Oh
Yep.
my, she's got this amazing, amazing meditation. 15 minutes. Everything is working out for you. Everything is working out for you. And I will go for runs. And I knew that if I listened to it 4 times, I run for an hour. But I knew I had to listen to it. Everything's working out for you. Everything is working out for you. There's Bruce Lipton. I love his books. And Greg Braden. Oh my God. The God, what is it? The God, what is it? The God code.
Yeah.
How it is, it's been found in a bloody DNA. So it's out there. So I found all those things, and then it just listening to something that feeds your soul. Just give it up. To give up all the stuff that doesn't suit you. You've got every right to do so. You're a little soul, sovereign, living here. Do what pleases you.
Yeah. I love that motto. I love that essence of just be you, do what does please you, and show up in the way that you know how.
Mm.
What's your vision of the future now that you've come through the journey? What what are you striving for?
Service.
Mm-hmm.
Service to all, including me. I'm part of that equation. Through it all, we're here to serve ourselves. We're here to please ourselves. We're here to learn within ourselves, so that then the Creator, source, God, whatever the word is for you, learns and gets to relish that experience through you. And you, as you go through that experience, then you yourself grow and become enriched by it all. I've been fortunate enough that, because my husband wasn't well, I was able to, become part of a movement that now it's become a business, and it allows me to do this, to serve others, and I do it in Maria style. And you know what? Not everybody's happy about that, but that doesn't matter. And that's okay. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here, first of all, and most of all, and this is not an egotistical thing.
Yeah.
I'm here to please me first. Because as I please me, fill my bucket,
Mm-hmm.
it runs over.
And you can
I've heard that before, right? And then you give it to others. And it's through that you find peace. I have found peace in a way. I mean, other things are still shaking and whatever, but overall, that's what it is. You've got to, you don't have to do anything, it's up to you. But for me, once I internalized it, that God, the Creator, so was working through me, and in doing so, I was working for others. Well, that to me is like, wow.
I love that. And it's true. You have to please yourself. Everyone thinks putting yourself first and taking care of you is selfish. It's the most selfless thing that you can do because without a full cup, you're pouring from something empty, and what you're giving lacks. So, whatever you lack, if you lack self-love, you can't give love to other people if you don't have it for self. It's felt.
100%.
And so, if you have no compassion for self, you can't give it to somebody else. You can only give from a full cup that runs over.
Absolutely. 100%. That takes courage. That takes
A lot
courage.
of courage.
People around you will say, "Oh, you're a selfie. You're always looking after yourself." At the end of the day, I said, well, it's not that. They've missed the picture, but that's okay. They'll get there eventually.
For me, there was I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but it was just a passing video that I watched either on TikTok or YouTube. It was a short, and he just put it in a simple way of we're the caretaker of our soul. Like a mother is the caretaker of the soul of their children until they're adults. We're the caretaker of our soul. When we turn 18 or 21 or whatever age we decide we're an adult, our soul is given into our keeping, and we need to take care of that and nurture it like a child. And our unconscious mind is that 5-year-old child. You have to uplift it and teach it and show it exactly what it needs. Fill that cup. Be the mother to yourself the same you would to your children.
Yeah.
And if that was a mindset that everybody took on board, that you are the keeper of your soul and it's a gift inside of you, that would change the world.
It would change the world. And you can take it, it's that, like if somebody finds that, how do I do that? Well, let's take it back down a little bit, one step back, and say, you have got 7 trillion cells in your body, and they are all your babies.
Mm-hmm.
Look after those babies.
Yep.
As you look after your babies, you're looking after you, and after you're looking after you, you're looking after your soul, and then off it goes. So yeah, no, I agree, 100%.
And in it, so many women, especially, and most of this audience is women, and I'm not discounting the men out there in any way, shape, or form, but so many women will tell me that they love their children unconditionally. They'll do anything for them. They would like defend them till the cows come home. They would fight anyone on their behalf. Do that for yourself.
Yeah.
Would you allow someone to treat your child the way you treat you? Would you allow someone to speak to your child the way that sometimes you can speak to yourself? Become your own defender.
Become your own hero.
Absolutely.
We allow people, it took me a long time to, because of where I was, to allow other people to disrespect me and including my kids as they were growing up, and because I had no concept as to who I was. I was happy to defend them, to do everything for them, but I wouldn't do that. Like, don't you talk to my child like that.
Yeah.
But guess what? I allowed it to happen to me. And when I stood my ground, when I actually, no, hang on, I'm worthy of you respecting me. Ooh, we didn't like that. And
No.
people around, they don't like it. They don't like it. They feel they've got the right to trust you or whatever. Not happening.
And that's the ironic part in our families, right? In our
It is.
personal families, they will accept us defending our children, defending our siblings, our parents, defending everybody else.
Yeah.
But why don't they ever accept us for defending ourselves? It saddens me. It really does.
Could it be you think that because we are reflecting something that they will love to do themselves and they find difficult to accept it, to learn or to do? Maybe. I don't know.
In many ways, yeah. And it's one of the lessons that I do teach people. Whatever you're thinking critically about someone else, judging them, or whatever you don't like about them, or whatever aspect bothers you, frustrates you, annoys you, that's something inside of yourself that you're not looking in the mirror about. It's the only reason you see it. Otherwise, we don't notice. I had a friend say the other day, did you hear that? Like, was someone saying something? No, because I'm not aware of it anymore. I have motion to the point that I don't hear someone else either disparage others or themselves anymore because it doesn't affect me, and I won't allow myself to propagandize other people's negative judgment and opinions of others.
Yes, I mean,
and left the gossip behind.
mm-hmm.
So what does spiritual awakening mean to you now?
Freedom. There's a freedom. There's you know what I'm talking about, Shaz? It's a freedom, a joy,
It's a bliss.
in a bliss. It's an immense amount of gratitude for every minute of the day, good, good or not so good. It doesn't matter. The whole spectrum of whatever it is that you're going through, emotion, the fact that you're going through, you can look at them for what they are, and you learn. So the joy, and to be able to experience that, it has expanded my life beyond belief. It's the way I look at it. It's just like, I heard somebody say the other day, and I picked it up and I took it to the team, right? And I said, do something every day that your future self will be grateful for, right? So the concept, when this lady would explain it, she said, we hear that, we've heard that many times, right? So we think of doing something today, then my future self, and you put your future self down years or months or years ahead. Well, how about in the next 5 minutes? How about your now self is going to make a cup of coffee, so your future self will be grateful and whatever for that. And it's a constant flow of gratitude when you look at it that way. You've got to bring it to the now, because over there it might not exist. It's now, so that myself now is so grateful to spend time with you that tomorrow I'm going to look back and say, oh gosh,
I'm good with that.
And it feels you made best. So it's the sense that be grateful and do something for you every day, every moment, every minute of the day, every second of the day, that your future self, 2 seconds later, it's going to be, wow, I did that. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Yeah.
I love that. And it is something I'm being more mindful about for myself. I do gratitude in my diary each day and look at different things that I'm grateful for. And then I consider, like, today I had a meeting with someone and then they were late, and I can get frustrated with it, or I could just go, well, you just wait. Things get in the way. It happens to me. I'll let it go. And then there were moments where I was wanting to do something, and when the program doesn't work, I used to lose myself and get cranky or get out with it. But now I go, okay, well, that's not working. What can I do instead? So I just went onto YouTube to find things that enlighten me. I was listening to some nature sounds because I'm creating some meditations and hypnosis. I was looking for data for that. I was listening to some uplifting things and the perspective on debates and things. I like to look at different things. And 5 minutes from now, I'll go and learn, well, I don't know how to do that. This program's not working. I'll go watch a how-to video on YouTube. I love those things. And as you said, the Esther Hicks thing, I have a number of those. One of my favorites is her morning rampage, and I love that. I used to listen to that first thing in the morning when I went for my walks, and I love it. And my whole body loves that. That's something that I can do for my future self, because I feel great all day doing things like that.
Yeah, that's
It's beautiful.
Exactly, it's beautiful.
Do you have a mantra, affirmation, or a belief that you live by today that is prominent?
Yeah, I do, and it's just the one, and I've said a number of times. Just now, it's that you're special and unique. God, the Creator, whatever you want to put in there, is in love with you, and that remember, you are on a need to know basis. You don't have to know everything straight away. You don't have to know how the program works. You don't have, just a need to know, but be kind to yourself, because you're special and unique and God is in love with you. There's nobody else in the world that looks like you, Chas, or anybody else that is listening. We're special and unique, and the person in front of you, it's the piece of God. It's the spark of God. Oh my God, you just got to look at that person and honor that person no matter what it is. I mean, I'm in sales. But just because I'm in sales doesn't mean that I'm going to look at you as a dollar sign. That is a byproduct of what I do. Just to see another person in front of you and understand that they're the spark of God, the same God that you're a spark of. Therefore, you are he or she, and they are you. And that is like, look at this one. Even the TV, the lipstick, everything is all one. When we internalize that, you bring reality.
Yeah. And it's quite funny because that is something that I also live by, in that essence of, I see the light in people, and my goal in life is, if I can activate the light in you, then you can activate the light in someone else, and together we can activate the light in everybody. And it is about seeing that spark, that God essence, the purity within, and it's amazing, and more of it. Everyone is special and unique. Go look at fingerprints. No two
Yeah.
people on the planet. There's 8 billion people on this planet. No two people have the same fingerprints. No two people have the same DNA. Even twins, their fingerprints are different.
Yeah.
There are uniqueness to us in all ways.
Absolutely. It's fascinating. I love it. I love it.
I love it. And how can listeners get in contact with you? Where is the best place to find you, my dear?
Look, you know what? Just send me a text on the phone, good old phone. That's it. Do you need my phone?
I will add it to the
Yeah.
podcast and
Look,
add your socials and things.
yeah.
I love that because sometimes I prefer Facebook Messenger. It's the one thing that I answer most because it's
Yeah,
the least
whatever works. Look, whatever works. They can find me, Maria Hopwood. Maria Hopwood. They can find Maria Hopwood. I'm short and stumpy with short hair and glasses. Can't miss it. All the other Maria Hopwoods out there are younger than me.
You're just a pocket rocket, though.
And they have things.
Maybe short and little, but there's a lot of power in that pocket.
Things. So just a mobile, Look, I've got a Facebook, I've got a Messenger, I've got mobile and WhatsApp, I've got Telegram, email, you name it. But people get lost in that. So just whatever works for anybody. It's be fine.
I love it. So thank you very much today for all your vulnerability and wisdom. I appreciate everything that you've shared with us. I want to get a copy of the name of those books that you mentioned with your dad early on, because we'll put that in the program so people can look them up. I'd like to look at them myself because I haven't heard of them either.
Can I tell you one more book?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a health book. I just come on. I'm on chapter 4 and I'm loving it. Her name is Casey Means, MD. So she's a doctor, and she wrote Good Energy.
Oh, I love it.
Love it. I'll put it in. I'll send you the stuff so you can.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and because they're important for me, I love to learn off different people, and I follow Joe Dispenza and Wade Dyer.
Yeah.
Very funny, a very special experience for me. I'll share this quickly.
Yeah, good.
During my NLP training that I did last year, we did this process where you got to go and see someone important to your future, and it was a connection of someone that's going to help you in your life and your journey. And you thought about it, and I'm like, oh, I'd like to go and see so-and-so. And straight in my ear, I just heard Wayne Dyer, come talk to me. I'm like, what?
Mm.
And I'm like, huh? And he goes, come talk to me. And so I went and sat with him. Maria, I've witnessed him on TV, and I've been around. I hadn't seen him in person. I missed that, but I knew other people that had, and I watched a lot of his stuff, and I sat in this beautiful meditation space with him for him to give me some guidance. And it was the most blessed thing I've ever felt in my entire life. And he's an amazing man, and the insights that he gave me were phenomenal. And he is one of the reasons why I absolutely pushed to create this podcast, because he told me that so many people need to hear and have more references to tools and let them know where they can find help, because there's enough out there, but there's not enough from people that have experienced it and lived it. There's just talk about the concept of it rather than the life survival of it, and that's what we wanted to share. So yeah, I love that. We'll share all of those for everybody, and I love your beautiful energy. It's a pleasure always to talk to you, and I love it when Spirit put you in front of my path all the time. So yeah, we would love to hear your thoughts, and please reach out to us at any time. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I will put all the details of Maria's contacts, the books that we referenced, and her motto in the comments down below, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks very much, my lovely. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Love and light to you. I see you.
I see you too. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.